What you see here is my homemade version of a game I call Dungeon Infiltration. This is a takeoff from Android Infiltration by Fantasy Flight Games made in 2012. The rules are basically the same as Android Invasion, except that this version has a fantasy theme rather than a cyberpunk theme. Our game uses a large map, so it feels more like exploring a castle rather than having room cards spread out on the table. Also, our room and item cards are much larger, and we've added new actions, monsters, and surprises to the original game. This game is for 3 to 6 players and takes about 1 to 1.5 hours to play, depending on the number of players. This video will cover the rules and how it's been expanded from the Android Infiltration game. This is a print and play game, so you won't be able to buy it anywhere. I have a link in the description to the files so you can print this out on your home printer. Instructions on how to print and assemble all of these pieces can be found there as well. To the best of our knowledge, this artwork was pieced together using AI-generated images. It is not our wish to make anyone angry or to present someone else's artwork as our own. If we had mistakenly used your artwork and you do not want it in this project, please contact us and we will put some other image in its place. This map represents the Warlock's Keep, a small castle filled with gold, monsters, and traps. Each player controls a hero who breaks into the keep and tries to steal as much gold as they can. At the end of the game, the hero who steals the most gold is the winner. However, there is a gatekeeper who watches over the keep. During the game, he will slowly make his way around the outside of the castle. If he finally gets to the front doors, he will bolt them shut, trapping the heroes inside forever. The heroes must go in, take as much gold as they dare, and escape before the gatekeeper finishes his path. Heroes advance into a room, steal gold, attack monsters, and retreat back out using action cards. All players will simultaneously pick one of these cards and place it face down. Then one at a time, going around the table, each player will reveal their card and take that action. The point is to try to outguess your opponents and collect the most gold. I'll start with setting up the game. The game board is fairly large, 45 inches by 27 inches, so you'll need a fairly large table to fit the map and have a space for players to keep their cards and dice in front of them. This map has 12 connected rooms starting from the entrance and working around until you're deep into the castle. Each of these empty rooms will be filled with a room card. The back shows the level of the room and the front shows what's in the room. Each room is unique and has different amounts of gold, traps, and monsters in it. You won't know what's in the room until your hero walks into it. Start by dividing the rooms into 4 stacks according to its level. Then shuffle each stack and place 4 rooms of each level onto the map. Starting from the entrance, you'll have 4 level 1 rooms, then 4 level 2 rooms, and finally 4 level 3 rooms. The room all by itself is the secret room, so place one of the 3 secret rooms on this spot. The cards in this game are stickers placed onto the face of standard poker-sized cards measuring 2.5 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall. The backs of the cards should all be the same. I chose this design, but feel free to use any poker card design you like. Sort out the cards face up by type. Divide them into stacks of action cards, item cards, lever cards, and reserve cards. For the action cards, give each player one advance, retreat, attack, lever, search, and loot card. Shuffle the item cards and deal 4 to each player. Some cards are better than others, so to distribute them more fairly, you can draft these cards. In other words, have each player keep one of the 4 cards and pass the remaining 3 to their left. Of the 3 they receive, have them keep 1 and pass 2 to their left. Of the 2 they receive, they will keep 1 and pass the final card to their left. Then shuffle the remaining item cards and place them face down on the map where indicated. When finished, each player should have 10 cards in their hand which they'll keep secret from the other players. Also, give each player a miniature with a colored base and a 16mm color die to match. Since you'll have to provide your own miniatures and dice for the game, the miniatures I've used are 32mm scale from the Descent game by Fantasy Flight Games, but feel free to use miniatures from any game you happen to have. Next, shuffle the lever cards and place them face down on the map where indicated. Then place the reserve cards face up in a vertical spread out stack on the map. You want the name at the top to be exposed so you can easily find the card you need. Use a monster miniature for the gatekeeper and place them onto the guardhouse at the beginning of the outside path. Place the gold coins and wound dice in the center of the map where indicated. For gold coins you can use pennies or get more expensive coins like I have here. The dice I'm using for wounds are 12mm transparent red dice, which look really nice on the table. Put some sort of marker on the 0 spot on the doom scale. Here I'm using a 1-inch skull. Finally, you'll need some item to pass around to indicate who the first player will be. I happen to have a 3-inch skull which works really nice. And that's everything needed to set up the game. Dungeon Infiltration is played over a series of rounds. Each round has 5 different phases. Rolling Wounds phase, Card Selection phase, Card Resolution phase, Monster phase, and Gatekeeper phase. First is the Rolling Wounds phase, where players will roll their wound dice to see if they can take a turn this round. Second is the Card Selection phase, where each player will choose a card from their hand and place it face down on the table. Third is the Card Resolution phase, where the starting player will flip over their card and take their action. Fourth is the Monster phase, where all monsters on the board will take their action, which could be things like wounding heroes, moving around, taking gold, and many other terrible things. Finally, the Gatekeeper phase happens, where the first player will roll his die and move the Gatekeeper that number of spaces towards the front doors of the keep. Let's go over each phase in detail. When making this game, you'll need around 25 small dice to represent wounds. If a hero is wounded, that player will take one of these dice and place it in front of them. During this phase, all players will need to roll all of these small dice. If a player ends up rolling a 1 on any of these dice, they will lay their hero figure down and put any dice with a 1 result back into the dice pool. That player will not be able to play a card or participate this round. Laying your hero down helps other players see that you're out of the round, so they can plan their actions accordingly. During this phase, all players still in the round will choose a card from their hand and place it face down on the table. The chosen card can either be an action card or an item card. Once everyone has put a card down, the next phase can begin. On the Card Resolution phase, we'll start with the player who has the first player marker. In our case, we use a skull to represent who this first player is. They will flip over their card and take the action the card describes. At this point, I'll need to go through each type of card and describe what they do. Let's start with the action cards. Advance. If the advance card is played, the player will move his hero figure 1 room deeper into the castle. If a hero enters a room that hasn't been revealed, they'll flip over that room before moving into it. Retreat. If the retreat card is played, the player will move his hero figure back 1 room towards the exit. If he moves out of the castle, he escapes and can't go back in. Attack. The attack card can be used to try and kill a monster or open a locked chest. If trying to kill a monster, look at the number printed on the monster's heart. The player will roll a die, and if the number matches or is higher than the number on the heart, the monster is killed and the player collects all the gold printed on the monster card. Only monster cards that are face up can be attacked. If trying to open a chest, the player needs to roll a 5 or 6 to break open the chest. If they succeed, the chest token is removed and all the gold is put in the center of the room for anyone to pick up. The lever action is used to pull a lever if the room has any. The player will choose one of the lever tokens to remove and will do whatever is printed beside that token. Levers will do things like give you an item, reveal a secret staircase, release a monster, or force you to take a lever card. Lever cards are fun because you don't know what will happen until you take the card. Some lever cards are good, some are bad, and some can be either depending on the circumstances. Search. Many rooms contain hidden items or gold that have to be searched for. Only play a search card if you're in a room with an eye token on it. After playing the card, the player will roll a die. If the result is a 4, 5, or 6, the search was successful, and the player will remove the token and receive all of the gold or items shown beside that token. Loot. Loot cards are used to pick up gold sitting in the room. However, If a loot card is played, that player will have to wait until the end of the round before picking up the gold. If only one hero in a room plays a loot card, that hero can collect up to 4 coins. If 2 heroes in a room play a loot card, each player can only collect up to 2 coins, starting with the first player and going clockwise around the table. 3 or more heroes playing a loot card means that each hero can only pick up 1 coin in the same manner. If too many players try to loot at the same time in the same room, someone will probably not get anything. Now on to the item cards. Each player will start the game with 4 item cards. An item card can be played the same way as an action card. In the card selection phase, an item card can be chosen and placed face down in front of that player. During the card reveal phase, the item is flipped over and the instructions on the card are followed. Afterwards, the item card is discarded face up in the discard pile, unless the card says otherwise. Most cards will be immediately discarded after they're used. An item card can allow you to do something special, such as kill a monster, break open a chest, travel further into the dungeon, protect the hero from wounds, and several other cool things. Now on to the 4th phase, which is the monster phase. During the monster phase, all monster cards which are face up will be activated one at a time, starting from the castle entrance and moving deeper into the castle. Any monster cards placed face down are ignored, although you are allowed to peek at it to see what it is. To activate a monster, simply read the text on the card and do what it says. For example, the giant bat will deal 1 wound to all heroes in the room, and then advance to the next revealed room. Monster miniatures are not needed, but it is more fun to put them on the board if you have them. The final phase of the round is the gatekeeper phase. At this point, the person with the first player marker will roll his die and move the gatekeeper forward that many steps. If the doom scale has been moved up, add that number to the steps as well. In this case, the first player has rolled a 5. But since the doom scale is on a 2, the gatekeeper is moved forward 7 steps. If the gatekeeper reaches the front doors, he will bolt the doors shut, trapping any hero still inside the castle. At this point, the game is over, and the hero who got out of the castle with the most gold is the winner. Now let's take a closer look at the rooms. When a hero steps into a room for the first time, it's flipped over. At that point, a few things need to happen. First, place any gold coins shown in the upper left into the center of the room. Next, see if there is any when revealed instructions that need to be followed. For example, if a room tells you to put a monster in a room face up, take that monster card from the reserve stack and place it face up in the room. You might also see some when entered instructions on the card. This means that whenever any hero enters the room from now on, this thing will happen. If the room has any icons shown lower down, place a token on each of these icons. The chest icon means that there is a chest containing 6 gold in this room. If a hero breaks open the chest, the token is removed, and the 6 gold coins are placed in the center of the room. Finally, the castle has a secret room that's difficult to get to. The only way into this secret room is through a secret staircase. For example, this room has a lever that if you pull it, a secret staircase will appear. In this case, take matching staircase cards, place one in this room and the other into any unrevealed room of your choice. Most players will choose the secret room because it has the best stuff in it. If a room has a staircase in it and you play an advance card, you have the choice to either travel using the staircase further into the castle or move into the next adjacent room further into the castle. If you're deeper in the castle and you play a retreat card, you can either move towards the exit using the staircase or move to the next adjacent room leading towards the exit. The game ends when either all heroes have escaped the castle, or if the gatekeeper has reached the final square on his path in front of the entrance. If any hero is still inside when the gatekeeper has finished his path, they will be trapped inside and receive no score at the end of the game. If either of these conditions are met, the game ends and all players who have exited the castle will add up their gold. The player with the most gold wins. Thank you for watching this rules video. Our gaming group has really enjoyed this game. We've made this game available as a print and play game so others could enjoy it as well. Thanks for watching.